Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in both residential and equestrian properties, and today I want to talk about finding the right real estate agent for you. Everybody knows a real estate agent, whether it's a friend or a family member or multiple friends or multiple family members. We are a dime a dozen. There are so many of us out there, and it can be really tricky to determine who is going to be the best fit for you when it comes time to buy and or sell a home. Not everybody is going to work well with you. That's kind of, the way life goes. And as a real estate agent, I've had to learn to work with a lot of different personality types. But, as a buyer or seller, I think you really owe it to yourself to take the time to find somebody who's going to work well with you. And a lot of sellers will interview multiple agents as a matter of course. I find that buyers don't do the same. In most cases, buyers will work with the first agent they talk to, and I really don't think that's in their best interest. It can be incredibly difficult to predict how an agent is going to handle a difficult negotiation or a transaction that's become unexpectedly complicated. Things happen, and it's hard to tell ahead of time in a lot of cases how an agent is going to handle that. But I do think there are a number of things you can discuss with your agent ahead of time to help you determine whether or not they're going to be a good match for you. So the first thing you're likely to notice about your agent is whether or not they have an online presence. After all, most people are looking for agents online if they're not getting a referral from someone else. So do they have an online presence? Are they going to be able to effectively market a home for a seller on multiple platforms? Are they going to be knowledgeable of any changes in the market or any new homes coming on the market when they are looking at properties for a buyer client? It's really, really important that your agent is tech savvy in this day and age, and it's not just about marketing homes or finding homes for a buyer. It's also about communication. Communication is so incredibly important in real estate. Things change really quickly. You need to resolve something really quickly. Your lender needs a document from your buyer, things like that. It's really, really important that your agent is able to communicate in a timely and efficient manner. So, for a lot of my clients, they work during the day. They can't necessarily take a phone call, but if I shoot them a text or an email, they can answer it right away or when they get out of a meeting, and we're able to resolve it that way, if not set up a call for a little while later when they can step out. So, that's really important, to have an agent who's able to communicate on multiple platforms and not just with a phone call, because that's not always tenable for a client. The other thing that's really important about communication is understanding who you're going to be communicating with. For me personally, my clients, even though I'm on a team, they deal directly with me always. And that's not always the case. In some instances, you've got an agent who hands off communication to an assistant or an admin, or if you're on a team or they're in a brokerage structure where you might be talking to a different person every single time you call. And that can be really frustrating. And although some buyers may feel supported by that, I don't know, but it's a really important thing to understand up front about your agent, is how you're going to be communicating and with whom. Another really important thing to know when it comes to communication is whether or not your agent is a full-time agent or a part-time agent. Now, both full-time and part-time agents will have other clients. They'll be on calls, they'll be at showings, they're going to have a schedule to work around. But I have found in working on transactions across from part-time agents that a lot of part-time agents have second jobs, and that can work out. It can work out for a buyer or a seller. However, you want to know that they have a contingency plan for when they are at their other job and cannot answer the phone, calls, texts, emails, whatever it is. Real estate is really, really time sensitive, and I have worked on transactions with part-time agents where they haven't thought of that, and it can make things really, really difficult for, the transaction, and it can potentially be devastating to a transaction. So, it's important to know if your agent is full-time or part-time, and if they are part-time, are they working another job, and what do they do when they can't come to the phone? When it comes to professionalism in real estate, there are a number of basics. Your agent should be on time. They should be prompt in communicating with you. They should be knowledgeable, and if you go on Google, you can find all kinds of questions you can ask your real estate agent ahead of time to figure out how knowledgeable they are about the market or about the buying or selling process. Personally, I think it's really, really important that you ask questions beyond basic, list price, how to list the home, how to find homes for sale, I think is really, really important that you ask your agent, how do they provide value when it comes to a difficult negotiation or when it comes to a multiple offer situation? How do they help their clients compete? How do they deal with repairs? Things like that are really, really important for you to know ahead of time, because in a lot of instances you won't find out how they're dealing with those things until you are in the thick of it with them and you're under contract. And by then, in most cases, it's too late to get rid of your agent if you don't like them or they're not performing. So it's really, really important to ask more in-depth questions about the process ahead of time. Now, personally, I don't put too much stock in how people dress or the car they drive. I tend to wear a blouse with trousers, and if I'm showing a home, sneakers. In most cases, cute sneakers, but sneakers nonetheless, because, it's all fun and games until somebody has to go in a crawl space. And I don't want my dress to distract from the job that I'm trying to do. I don't want to be thinking about my heels sinking into the mud when I'm trying to go in the backyard. And the same thing when I show farms. I wear farm boots and jeans and a blouse. I want to look professional and neat and tidy and organized, but I don't necessarily want to be distracted by my clothing. Lastly, and I think everyone can agree with me on this, you want an agent who is honest. And honesty doesn't just mean they're honest about the condition of a property. It also means they're honest about what they know and what they don't know. You definitely don't want an agent winging it and making up the answers. This is likely the biggest investment of your life, and I don't think it's a weakness if you ask a question or something comes up and the agent says, that's a good question, or I don't really know, let me talk to my broker, or let me talk to the title attorney, or let me do a little research and get back to you. I think personally that's a strength, and you should look for people who are going to be honest like that. I also think it's really important that they're honest with you about your expectations. Sometimes your expectations aren't going to be realistic across the board. Sometimes your expectations aren't going to be able to be met by that particular agent, and it's really important that you are working with somebody who feels comfortable admitting that to you. It's really, really important that you are working with an agent that you can trust to be honest. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in both residential and equestrian properties in Maryland and Virginia.